Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
And this is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Joe Biden knows how to do this.
Yes.
He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing?
A few days ago, we covered the explosive verbal showdown between the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, and Whoopi Goldberg. But due to time constraints, we couldn't dive into the full details of their heated exchange, or the jaw-dropping reactions that followed. Well, buckle up, because what you're about to see will leave you stunned. From sharp comebacks to unexpected twists, this encounter had it all. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss epic moments like this.
I'm a working mom and always have been. I've been a professional woman since I graduated from college or law school. But now there's, I think, a good thing, which is like the restoration of valuing so-called traditional, moms, and that's great. The women who take care of their kids full time. Most of my best friends are doing exactly that. But it seems like in the right, there's like a bit of a shift toward like, you can't do what Karoline's doing. That's actually like an unsafe or a dangerous or a bad choice for families, for children, which I reject wholesale, but you hear it more and more.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? And what do you think of it?
The woke mob did what they do best. Lose their minds and mom-shame Karoline Leavitt for daring to outwit Whoopi Goldberg. Instead of challenging her facts or professionalism, they went full 1950s mode and asked, why is a mother of a 7-month-old even working? Yes, the same crowd that screams women can do it all suddenly decided this working mom was out of line. Apparently, if you embarrass a daytime talk show host, you're supposed to go home, bake cookies, and think about what you've done. Hypocrisy through the roof, self-awareness missing in action.
Reject that it's a bad choice. Is it a tough choice? Absolutely. You know, as a mother, you want to be with your child 24/7. You have that maternal instinct.
27.
Yeah, not all the time. Well, right now, yes, because he's 7 months and just squishy and lovable, but I'm sure that will change. No, but you know, you do have that maternal instinct, but also recognizing, like, I'm doing this work for my son and for all children to make this country better. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's also it's temporary, right? In 4 years, my son will be 4 years old and the president will no longer be at the White House. And then I'll move on and do something else. But, you know, this chaos of 24/7 work is a temporary matter. And that's what at least I tell myself to get through these very long and hard days. But I would reject that you can't be a good mom and be good at your job. I think you can do both. It certainly it's not for everybody. And it takes a lot of work and will and faith and prayer. And it's hard, but it can be done. And, you know,
Karoline Leavitt effortlessly shuts down the woke outrage, calmly explaining the obvious. It is possible to balance motherhood and a career without sacrificing one for the other. Instead of playing victim, she embraces traditional values, acknowledging that juggling both roles is tough and not for everyone. A shocking concept, right? Unlike the "you can have it all" or "you failed" feminism mantra, Leavitt takes a mature approach, pointing out that women who choose full-time motherhood deserve just as much respect. In the end, she doesn't just win the argument, she exposes the hypocrisy of performative empowerment mixed with mom-shaming. But just when you think the outrage brigade is done, they manage to sink even lower.
Because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality.
Yes, you heard that right. The left has gone full conspiracy mode, claiming Elon Musk is secretly plotting to push Trump down the stairs. Leading this circus? The hosts of The View, acting like they're running a congressional committee from their coffee table. Why? Because Leavitt embarrassed their queen bee, and now they want revenge. So, they target Trump's ally, Musk. But Leavitt wasn't having it. She fired back, exposing their nonsense and leaving them scrambling for their next wild theory.
A lot of women are preparing themselves for the impact of the incoming administration, which has led to this growing mantra from male right-wing incels. Your body, my choice. Say that to my face.
Whoopi Goldberg, unwilling to face Karoline Leavitt directly, took the coward's route, targeting Trump instead. And then, on national TV, she did the unthinkable spat after saying his name, like a cartoon villain tasting defeat. Classy, right? Leavitt didn't let it slide. She fired back, mocking the childish display, saying when you can't win on facts, you resort to playground antics. She exposed the hypocrisy, calling out how these same people preach civility while turning ABC into a slapstick show. The internet agreed, memes flooded in, and support for Leavitt skyrocketed. These women are going to have to hide at some point. I wouldn't feel comfortable walking down the street if I were any of them. Others pointed out that she spat on the face of all Americans who voted for Trump. One commented. Literally, she spat on the face of the Trump supporters, what it is half the American people. Some also thought that Whoopi's antics were just part of some elaborate act to get more views on the show they wrote. I'm convinced they pay her extra to act foolish.
You must have really wrestled with how you were going to meet the high bar set by Karoline Leavitt. Was that? Sorry. Was that out loud? No, she was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how has your approach differed, would you say?
I think it's vastly different. And if you ask people, even in the legacy media, even the Trump haters, they will tell you the approach has been much different. Not just from me, but
They
the
admit that to
entire
you.
White House. Oh, absolutely. They come in my office every day and they'll admit that off the record.
Oh.
Maybe not on the record, but they will say they appreciate the access and the transparency and the preparation that goes into my briefings, and everybody on our team, by the way, who goes out to the cameras and speaks. We have great policy experts who are great spokespeople for the president.
Karoline Leavitt just exposed the media's hypocrisy. They publicly attack her, but privately thank her for access they lacked under Biden. Pretending to fight her while secretly benefiting, it's peak hypocrisy, but no surprise.
Report from the Social Security Administration, there was $71 billion worth of fraud in one single fiscal year that we know about. And so that is a lot of fraud, Peter.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just 1 year, and it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in 1 year, just over multiple years, 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask a question.
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like you and the press.
Karoline Leavitt barely catches her breath after shutting down Whoopi before another journalist swoops in, not to address the real issue, but to nitpick her words like a hall monitor on a power trip. Ignoring corruption, they focus on fact-checking nonsense. But Leavitt, with her signature calm precision, fires back, exposing their misplaced priorities. By the end, the journalist looks less like a truth seeker and more like a PR rep for the very fraud she exposed.
Do you prepare? Because you can't know everything,
No.
and you could get asked anything. And unlike Karine Jean-Pierre, you're not out there reading and furiously flipping through your tabs to try to find an answer somebody
Right.
else has written for you.
Yeah.
So how are you preparing?
So I did prepare a binder for the first briefing. My great assistant, Keegan, put it together. And then I showed up to work and it was like this thick. And I was like, I can't
No way.
even move this. I can't use this. It was too cumbersome for my brain and the way I learn and think and study to have that. It felt like added weight. And I said, I want to just go in there and speak from my mind and from my heart.
Like your boss.
Like my boss. And I've been working for my boss now on the campaign. I know the policies we're enacting. We've been talking about them for years. And in school, I was that way. Like studying, I would just read, highlight, memorize, articulate.
And then it goes off to the side.
Yeah.
And you talk.
Exactly.
Karoline Leavitt's sharp comebacks aren't scripted, they're straight from the heart. While the left relies on focus groups and PR-approved outrage, she skips the theatrics and speaks plain truth. No hypocrisy, no sugarcoating, just unfiltered reality that cuts through recycled talking points. While her critics scramble to craft the perfect insult, she's already 5 steps ahead, dismantling their arguments before they even hit post. That's why Joy Behar and Whoopi reducing her to her looks isn't just shallow, it's proof they have nothing else left.
Clarify, she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous job.
The ladies on The View aren't just offended by Karoline Leavitt, they're jealous. They can't attack her record or arguments, so they resort to character assassination, claiming she's only successful because of Trump or accusing her of abandoning her baby, hypocrisy they'd never apply to a liberal mom. Leavitt's meteoric rise exposes their envy, and as she keeps winning, their tantrums only get louder.
Very nice looking lady. But it isn't true that that's why she got the job. She got the job because she was the national spokesman for the campaign, and she did a very good job in that role. And the campaign was hugely successful and communicated very effectively. That is why she got the job. Even if Karoline Leavitt weren't a pretty lady, even if she were a male, gremlin, monstrous-looking fellow, she still would have gotten the job based on how effective the campaign communications was. Furthermore, Karoline Leavitt ran for Congress. I was talking to Roger Stone about this when we were trying to figure out who the picks for the administration were going to be. He said, I think Leavitt's going to get the White House press sec job. I think she earned the job, and I like that she has been in the fire. She's run for office.
Karoline Leavitt isn't just outsmarting the woke crowd, she's battle-tested. She crushed her Republican primary, leaving supposed frontrunner Matt Mowers in the dust. And even in her general election loss, she proved she was a real threat, not a token Gen Z candidate. Her campaign was a crash course in real-world politics, not just a resume boost, and it shows. Every sharp response at the podium isn't just confidence, it's experience. No wonder the left fears her. She's everything they claim to champion but can't control, smart, resilient, and actually effective.
Cackling witch herself, Joy Behar from The View, whose jealousy is something to behold. Here is her assessment of Trump's new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt.
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
The ever-empowering feminist, Joy herself, everyone. And this is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
The ladies on The View aren't just annoyed by Karoline Leavitt, they're jealous. While they rant from a studio, she's shaping narratives in the White House, effortlessly dismantling their arguments with facts and confidence. They know if they had to trade places, they wouldn't last 5 minutes.
CNN guy, Jim Acosta? Oh, wait, he's not on CNN anymore. That's right. He was like, it was just so, I would say, you don't mind the aggressive questions, you take the aggressive questions, but it was just always to the point that it was like, how do you destroy Donald Trump? How do you destroy the individuals of staff? It was so, when they do say Trump derangement syndrome, and I do think that there's also Elon Musk derangement syndrome happening too with the media, because they don't know how to handle it. How do you view that differently from the first administration till now? Because it was a lot of dealing with Russian hoax at the beginning, special counsels. It was constant because the media was trying so hard to, and they never apologized, right? They didn't apologize about the Russian hoax. Yeah, that's right, they didn't. So this time around, it's a very different strategy that you all are taking forward. What is that strategy?
Well, first of all, since you brought up Jim Acosta, he's been saying some not so nice things about me online, and I've resisted responding, but since you brought him up, I'd like to say,
let's go.
Jim, at least I have a job, Jim, okay? Just saying.
Karoline Leavitt delivers yet another brutal clapback, effortlessly outmaneuvering Whoopi Goldberg, who wouldn't dare face her in a real debate. While Whoopi rants, Leavitt plays chess, turning every insult back with precision. In a real showdown, it'd be a KO before the first commercial break.